Mr. Mayor, for being here. In addition to being a senator, I'm also a former county executive, and I have a lot of empathy for you because you've taken the position of chief executive officer of a city that's more dangerous than it's been in decades. So I wish you luck, and you're going to need a lot of it. I'm also a restaurant owner, and I'm a member of the New York State Restaurant Association, and I have been in many meetings with New York City restaurant owners who are at their wits' end. They've exhausted their savings. They've seen the people flee the city, first from the pandemic and now due to violence. As you mentioned, tourism is down. Hotels are empty. Office buildings are empty. This is a very difficult time for the hospitality industry, which has been probably the most impacted industry as a result of the pandemic and just the general climate here in New York State right now. And so my question to you is, with the proposal that our former governor and the former mayor had of taking empty office buildings and empty hotels and turning them to public housing, how that might impact the ability to bring people back to New York City, and the unfair mandates that have really been visited most heavily on the hospitality industry. You have to have a vaccine card to walk into a restaurant and sit down and have a meal, but you can ride the subway without one, and you can walk into a department store without one. So how are you going to address the fact that this industry has been devastated, and despite all the federal funds to prop them up, which have now been exhausted, this industry is still in crisis and will likely, and it is certainly the backbone of the experience of being in New York City, is being able to go into a restaurant, a fine hotel, a hospitality experience. How do you plan to help this industry recover?
Well, and thank you for that. And I think our restaurants, they are bellwethers to the success of a city. They are really indicator of how well we're doing. The financial stability is attached to it. As I indicated, low wage employees are in the restaurants. I was a former dishwasher, and I know how important it is to be employed in our restaurants. So number one, we need to stop making business unfriendly to the city. The bureaucracy that's attached to just getting your lights and gas turned on in a restaurant, to get an inspection, to get a CFO, all of these things are in the way of our restaurants. The lack of clarity in our businesses. One inspector comes in and give you one indicator of what you need, and another will come in and give you something totally different. So we need to turn our city agencies into a place where we would continue to make our restaurants and other small businesses a safe place. But we want to build on what SBS has done over the past year. $50 million in rental assistance, $50 million in grant funding for low-income communities, low-interest loans, and more. But when you do an analysis, when I speak to my small businesses and restaurants, they say, Eric, we need agencies to stop being impediments to getting our doors open and placing people in the seat. On Sunday, I sat down with Councilwoman Velasquez and other council members in the Bronx, and we talked about even the outdoor seating arrangement. That was a lifeline to my restaurants. We're going to do it better. We're going to re-examine it and find ways of ensuring that we infuse money into our small businesses in the city and not get in the way of our small businesses. And so at the height of the pandemic, the previous administration repeatedly asked for long-term borrowing authority and a bonding authority, but all of this is connected to the things that we can do to make sure that our businesses and small businesses, as we build out and use our capital dollars, those are feeders to small businesses as well. And so I'm with you 100%. It's about getting our restaurants and our other businesses up and operating.
Yeah. On behalf of the restaurant industry, best of luck.